God, you genuinely won't believe what we've just found. Talk to us, Martin. What's going on over here?
I don't want to talk.
Today, guys, we are back with the Reist Fiesta. Now, I've got to tell you guys that after, a couple of months of thinking, I think it's time to start really going through the bodywork and deciding where I want to take it. Now, I don't think polishing it back is really going to get the desired effect that I want from this car. Problem is, it's way too faded, in my opinion. I've had some professional advice, and I genuinely think it's a bit too far gone, which is a massive shame because I wanted to restore this paint. But this does mean that I can open up a different chapter, say, colour-wise and, refinement-wise in the colour, new paint schemes and stuff on this car. So that means I will be fully respraying the Fiesta, which is a really, really exciting thing, but it does mean there's a lot more involved my end. Stripping this car back, completely gutting as much as I can off this paintwork and getting it back to, quite a nice red, hopefully. That's the sort of colour theme we're gonna go, but maybe a newer red, maybe, from a newer car with a bit of glitter in it. But today I'm gonna make a start just going through the bodywork and, trying to take little bits and bobs off that I can today and see what we're working with. So what I'm gonna start with is actually the front end. So I'm gonna go from front to back, literally just picking off and getting, as much of the paint really exposed on this car. I'm going to start with the bonnet because this is one of the things I want to start with it being at the front of the car. The front bumper is just up there. It doesn't need a lot, other than the grills actually taken out of it, which should be a pretty easy thing to do, and these grills do need to be taken out as well. But I'm going to take the actual bonnet latches off here, a couple of screws there, and this is actually vinyl that's been put on many years ago from Rich himself. So I'm going to try and take those off and see what we're working with underneath this and see how much of this original paint, the resprayed paint, is still intact underneath these stripes. Now, a lot of you may be asking why I've already taken these bonnet pins off of the car. Basically, these were, as you can see, cut in with the actual bonnet pin going through the bonnet, but the actual wrap is underneath these bonnet pins, so I have to take those off to actually properly get this wrap off. Obviously quite an easy process, just 3 screws and they're off. Okay, so I've taken the first sort of headlight, where the bad boy bonnet goes down there, and look at this colour. Obviously this is the colour it is pretty much all over the car, and this was the original colour when sprayed. Oh, it looks so good. This is exactly what I wanted to find under here, is the original sort of sprayed colour. It looks so good. Even got a bit of shine to it, which is nice because it's been under the vinyl. I must admit, this vinyl is actually really good. Considering it's been on here for many years, it's actually still very durable and very intact, enough that I can actually peel it back. Now, I'm actually going to expect this, which is the vinyl actually picking up some of the paint. Obviously it's been on here for such a long time that I've got a little bit there, just around the front, just here, sort of chipped off. Obviously this being on the front of the car, I was expecting some sort of chipping, but the vinyl is still so stuck on, as you can see, that it's actually pulling the paint off the car. Again, another reason why I want to completely respray this car. Just finished this side off. You can see the depth of paint completely different to that side. Massive difference. Obviously this was put on pretty much when the car was resprayed. The colour difference is hilarious. I mean, look at that contrast. It is completely different colour. This is the colour we want to go for, I think. Basically pink in comparison, but I'm really happy with how that's come off so easy. Really good vinyl, obviously lasts, and this stuff, whatever was used at the time. I want to take this one off as well, and the one down the side of the door there. Right, this side of the car is done. The little eyelash off the front. Look at the difference in paint though. It's hilarious. And then coming to the back of the car, just taking this one off as well. I do want to take the tinted windows out as well, because they need re-tinting anyway. We're going to make a start on the other side. Okay, so let me show you what's going on up here. Vinyl, this side, weather and everything has actually gone under the paint and it's actually lifting. I can actually lift this paint off part of the car here, which is a bit of a shame, but easy to get this paint off this section. But just shows how much vinyl can actually trap the water on this car as well. It's actually trapped water here. And it's made the whole part of this, you know, this part here actually lift up. As you can see, I'm actually able to pick that off because it's lifting so much. Okay, so as I started at the front, Martin thought, oh, you know, the next stage is to actually take the blanked out roof rails out. Basically, they've been smoothed out of the car. Something that we knew was coming. We knew we had to take these out for the respray. Oh God, you genuinely won't believe what we've just found. Talk to us, Martin. What's going on over here?
I don't want to talk.
I genuinely don't want to be seeing this on this car right now, but
okay.
We've got to show you guys.
Well, I've chipped.
Chip. Taking this off. This is coming off because obviously this is how they are as standard, and you know they've been smoothed many moons ago. But as you can see,
With so filler is obviously not water resistant.
it's not water resistant.
So it's held the water underneath it. Yeah.
Holding, you know, some serious water in there.
This isn't a problem.
This isn't a problem. Not a problem. That is a major problem.
It's fixable.
It's fixable, but that means that it's something that we weren't actually expecting. I was expecting that to be pretty good, if I'm honest. But I'm genuinely worried about the front now. Safety glasses, safety first. Let's go in. What are we saying?
That's all right.
Yeah? So, you know, another place would be around here and around this top of the roof here. But other than that, that back bit,
It's fiberglass.
so the first bit is actual fiberglass.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie, this is something we weren't expecting, if I'm honest. I was expecting it to be relatively bad, considering how bad the bottom was, but yeah, where it's collected so much there.
You're just going to get it in a sandblast from sandblast the liner.
Yeah, I think the best bet is to actually take that and sandblast the top of the car, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is that the right idea?
Yeah.
Because that means
We'll
we can actually get to the bottom of
do
where
that
that is as
here.
well. All the way across
here.
and there. Because again, yes, we were probably expecting that, but not to that extent. I genuinely wasn't expecting that.
I've come up with an idea already.
Yeah? Talk to me.
Could just put a carbon roof skin on it.
We could just cut the roof out and put carbon skin on it if we really wanted to.
Or if we had lots of money.
If we had all the money in the world, we could do that. But budget-wise,
let's fill it. No,
let's fill it. Yeah, let's fill it. No, don't bodge it. We're not going to bodge it. We're going to try our best to sort this out now.
The words from you guys, or a lot of you guys, will be, just scrap it.
Just scrap it. I am not.
We're too far in.
We're too far in. I am not scrapping this project. I will have none of it because I'm not fixing the rust.
No, I am.
Yeah, you and me. It's sort of a weird sensation doing this because you're splitting the fiberglass off of metal, and obviously I don't want to go too far in to the actual car and, you know, dent anything that's underneath this part of the roof. See that bit come out quite easy. But as you can see, this is complete filler that's gone into the roof well, which is a perfectly good way of doing it. It just meant that, you know, it does collect a little bit of water, and on the other side of it, taking it out, it's relatively easy, don't get me wrong, but it has meant that hopefully I don't find any more rust. Now I just want to check for rust here, as the camera's out of focus, because this is the part where we just found the other rust. Hopefully there is no rust on this part, because I don't want no more rust on this bloody car, because I'm sick of hearing about rust. Let's have a look at this part, as I've just done, hopefully give it a good stab with a screwdriver, because in reality that is exactly what we need. We don't want it to go through. If that part of the screwdriver can go through this metal, then that is a really, really bad sign. That isn't actually too bad, this corner. Right, so just finishing this side off, just sort of testing the structure of this part of the car. I think we might get away with it, if I'm honest. Quite happy with that. Martin will be very, very happy with this part. I'll let him obviously get in here with a screwdriver anyway, but I'm actually really happy with that. And again, guys, you know me, I'm just trying to learn as I work and as I make these videos. I've never taken filler out of the top of a Fiesta before in my entire life, so this is a new thing for me. But with Martin's guidance, I'm able to, you know, do these things to this car. I'm trying to do as much as possible myself to learn and understand as well how these things, you know, come together, how you take them apart, even down to taking the filler out of the top of this roof. I wanted to do it myself and, you know, learn not to punch a massive hole straight through the roof. But the question now is, do we put rails back in this, or do we smooth it back over? Smoothing over would be quite hard, I think, but would work, I think?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's I'm going to have to weld, so it's going to have a bit of filler in it.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah, so it's going to have filler in it anyway, so chances are we're going to have to fill it. Leave a comment below, though. We need to know your thoughts. Let us know. Should we put roof rails back in this, or should we fill it and smooth it? Right, so last bit of vinyl off of the bonnet. By the way, Martin should actually be doing lots of things himself, but he can't. He literally cannot tear himself away from this bloody thing.
Just keep coming back.
You literally, he left, he was like, oh, I've got stuff to do. Walked off, and then slyly came back in and started, look, hammering away at the back of the car. And if anybody ever says I make him do stuff, I come in here and he's doing stuff to it. So you just love this too much. You're like, oh, let's cut the wings off and do the doors right now. That's coming. That video is coming. Don't you worry about that. We're gonna do it. We'll do it. Right, so what we're talking about, we're assessing the situation this side, because this is the worst side. With this being easier, that side was being easier.
There's a bit of fiberglass filler there.
Yeah. Just right there.
I think the rest of it, it's a mixture of fiberglass filler and normal filler.
Yeah, so trying to get that out is actually proving quite hard this side. It's all repairable, is it? Everything is repairable, and I love the positive vibe that I get from Martin, because he will not be challenged by anything that screwdriver goes through.
This screwdriver's been through this car a lot.
It has, yeah, literally. If you guys remember, I was sat in that footwell and I literally put the screwdriver through, and my hand went through the car as well, which is what I was expecting when I actually saw that first. Don't do that behind me. Oh. Right, so we're going to end this video by trying on one of the Venoms. I have one with a tyre. I don't think, you know, this is going to be the tyre we use or tyre size or anything, but I just want to get the feel, the look, the idea that this, once it's actually on the car. Now, as this is Martin's workshop, behind me, where the Fiesta sort of sits all the time, we actually have quite a large space which we're going to put banners up and stuff. So if you are looking for any advertising space, especially on YouTube and stuff, I know I get a lot of questions and emails about that. This is what we're going to be proposing advertising wise. So as you can see behind us, we have Martin and we have Martin's billboard just behind us, but we want to cover this wall with advertising, with, you know, companies that want to work with us. So if you are in the market for any advertising, right here is your answer. I'm excited and I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I'm ready and excited at the same time.
Yeah, the only reason we thought about the billboard signs was because these were from Ford Takeover.
Yeah, these are actually from Ford Takeover, and obviously anything that we can make out of this space goes straight onto this car, so it speeds up the process in theory. That's the whole idea of it. Oh yeah! Now, these actually have, what, a 10mm spacer? It's got two 5mm spacers on it, I think, which, you know, we're going to probably go with a bigger spacer on these. I'm not really sure yet.
Just remove the spacer.
We've removed the spacer because they're sort of in the way. I don't think the studs are long enough. Obviously, these are a lot deeper, a lot, you know, wider offset than these ones are.
Oh. There's no offset on them.
Well, yeah, there's zero, like literally there's no offset on them, whereas these have quite a big bit of back spacing on them. So we've just put one on the front, and these are actually 15, so there is obviously a massive difference from going from a 17, which is this one, to a 15-inch wheel. Now, as you can see, Martin is pretending to be an engine because although this car is on coilovers, we have a lot of gap in here. And this is it a 55 or a 50 tyre? It's a 50 tyre on a 15-inch wheel. So obviously something, again, we can alter, but I'm quite happy with the fact that there's no spacing and, you know, the spacing is already on the wheel. So you've got a bit of concave in the wheel as well, which is quite nice. Like if you look down there, nice bit of sort of flush with the arch, which is quite good. Again, the back, we haven't tried this one on the back yet, but as you can see, these are actually tucked up a little bit, which is a cool look, don't get me wrong, but I still prefer these a lot more to those. It's just making these work with the car, obviously bringing it down and making sure we can space them out, and colour-wise, they still fill the arch with, you know, an appropriate sized tyre. But I think that's going to work. I think it looks good. I like the... So if we come right over here, the look, again, it looks completely different here, where obviously there's no engine in it.
Oh, put a bit of weight in it.
Put a bit of weight into it. You know, it can come right down, though. We are on coilovers, so that's not a problem. Exactly what I wanted. And yes, I know a lot of people are like, oh, these look better than that. They fill the arch a bit more. That's now. In the future, these will be, you know, filling the arch a lot more, different tyre, different colour, and the car will be a lot lower.
And it's old retro, which they're 90s wheels, 2000 wheels.
They're 90s wheels, all day long, and it works perfectly. Of era, which is what we keep on talking about, and these wheels are of era. So, yeah, if we just get that angle right there, yeah, that looks proper sick. I'm well happy with that. So there we go, guys. Test fitting the TSW Venoms. Super happy. Thank you so much again to Martin in the background, absolute legend, and we'll see you all on the next video. Cheers guys.
Cheers guys.